probably agree with that. The Fed's probably within 25 basis points of being done, which is fine. And I think a lot of people would acknowledge that's probably the right course of action. My contention, so far incorrectly, is this lag effect will take place at a certain point, and the market, the economy will start feeling the effect, the impact of 500 basis points of hikes over the last 9 months or so. But the names you mentioned, that's one thing we have been bullish. You look at Pulte Homes, for example, comes out PHM. That's within 30 cents or so of an all-time high. Look at that name. DHI, another name. Mohawk, which you mentioned, that's fine. Stock's trading 100. It's still down over 50-something% from its recent high, but you have nice little double bottom. So I think in some aspects, people are looking at opportunities to trade. In terms of the home builders that we talk about, supply demand, it's really got nothing to do with the economics. It literally comes down to supply demand, and they're trading that way.
Well, you got two kickers, supply demand, and then also if you know where the terminal rate is likely to be, that's a very good thing. You know what you're dealing with.
Yes, I think it's more I mean, if you're out looking for a home now, I think you would feel differently than you did 3 or 4 months ago about, well, prices may have moved down in your favor. But so I think that's part of it. I don't know if the Fed's done or done-ish, and I don't know that it really matters so much because I think we've seen the peak-ish for rates and for mortgages. But I think the overbuilding, or lack thereof, rather, has been so important. There is nothing remotely close to the overbuilding supply-demand dynamic that we saw in
So that's
08.
probably what it is. It's more of a supply-demand issue, which is keeping these stocks afloat versus the rates issue. But to Guy's point, if there's going to be a recession, who's buying a home? So that's the lag effect I believe that you were referring to, correct?
Yes, I think that's probably true. I think there's still some tailwinds to these home builders because, again, it is a supply-demand thing, and that takes a long time to wash through. Karen's right. I mean, we didn't have the 08-09 excess in any way, shape, or form, and people are still trying to figure this out. So I still think the stocks are ownable. At a certain point, you're going to run into Steve's problem, I think, but that's – in terms of the stocks, that's probably at the back half of this year, early next year.
Well, I will tell you the only one more little added thing as a tailwind, and this could be the early cycle of it. There's a lot of people that are buying homes for cash. That's still an element now.
Okay.
And that could run its course, and then you could see weakness.
Right. Tim, how do you sort of navigate this, especially, you also have a tailwind of input costs coming down. But for right now, right here, right now, we are seeing employment pretty strong still. So people are still employed, and so they can still buy a house. So even if a recession is coming, we might be in sort of a sweet spot, at least for now.
Well, perversely, the housing stocks and housing sector have gone up as rates have kind of gone off of that SVB bottom on where we bottomed out 2 years back, over 2% today. But I wouldn't be doing cartwheels about this snapback. I mean, the housing stocks traded down as if they were regional banks. And if you look at the XHB, it's still down, I think, 4% on a 5-day. If you look at Masco, if you look at some of the buildings materials, they're down 7 or 8. You look at Otis, you look at some of the Train, you look at some of the HVAC equipment. And I think, if you look at that Whirlpool upgrade today, that was interesting to me because Whirlpool, I think, is a world-class company who, largely is called defensive when 50% of demand is just replacement. Supply chain issues hit them as hard as anybody, and nothing like a crisis to make a company more efficient. So after trading down 45%, I love the call on Whirlpool. I don't get carried away with housing. Guy's been right about this move in housing. So, part of it for me is also that I don't want to buy the home builders that are so far off of those lows that I think you've priced in a lot of good news.